Hello, I'm Dylan Lockwood. I am the online content editor at Z Prime. I'm here backstage at Start at ETS at the One World Theater in Austin, Texas. With me, I've got Terry Fry, the Senior Vice President of Energy Services at Cadmus. How are you doing today?
Very good, thanks.
Start at ETS is about promoting innovation in the energy space. So what are some key takeaways you've seen from the pitches and competition today?
One of the things that was interesting to me was the process of innovation. I've worked with utility sector clients for a couple of decades, and they're often misunderstood. I was impressed by how well some of the startup companies that were pitching to them understood the business model, understood their needs, and understood how their solutions solve some relevant problems.
If that's the case, why do you think that sometimes utilities have a hard time partnering with startups?
Well, on the panel that I moderated, we got some good insights into that. For one, utilities are not known for being innovative. By nature, they're conservative with respect to reliability and safety. Many of them are regulated by public agencies, others by city councils, and they're answerable for virtually every move that they make. And so they tend to be very careful. It's not necessarily where innovators go for their careers. And that said, there was a widespread recognition among our panelists and among all the participants today that innovation is one of the things that utilities of the future will feature prominently in their business models.
So the mindset is changing when it comes to
Absolutely.
What were some key themes you noticed in a lot of the talks and the presentations today?
Well, several of the themes danced around blockchain technologies. And many of them understood that blockchain was used as a technology to solve some problems in marketing and customer engagement. Other solutions that were also customer engagement were very much at the forefront of the utilities thinking and how they want to interact with their customers. They're looking for solutions that will help them, say, before a climate-driven event, during it, or after it, and they need to communicate with their customers differently. They also have several different types of customer initiatives, some for customer service, others may be for electrification. The same customer set trying to deliver different qualities of messages in different ways. The ability to understand the customers better was at the forefront of virtually every panel and every presentation that we saw today.
So why is the customer engagement issue so? What's unique about that issue that makes it ripe for startups?
Well, one of the things that makes it ripe for startups is the somewhat conservative nature of the utilities as innovators. They tend to think in terms of what they already know and understand in the way that they plan for their resources and the way that they plan for their operations. The data that they're accustomed to dealing with is utility-centric data. It's structured. It comes from their systems, from their CIS, from their outage management system, from their DMS if they're smart meter enabled, and those systems deliver highly structured data. But the customer engagement solutions that many of them are looking for tend to deliver predictive analytics that are often driven by unstructured data from other sources that come from non-utility arenas. That's a difference in thinking, and it doesn't necessarily come to mind to some of the people inside of utilities. So they've structured innovative processes for how do I think about this problem differently, and they're seeking different voices, seeking different minds, they're seeking solutions that depend on different data sources as well.
So just for our audience, can you give a short recap on what your panel was on, and what do you hope that the startups that attended the panel take away from it?
Yes, our panel focused on customer engagement in a specific context of grid reliability, and grid reliability in a specific context of what happens in climate-driven events. They're more frequent, they're more severe than they have been in the future, and we can predict that more of that will happen in the future. At the same time, the grid system itself is being more complex. More and more of it is distributed. There are devices that are in customers, behind customers' meters that make the operation of the grid more complex, but also make it possible for customer engagement processes to understand customers' behaviors better, differently, to understand from diverse data sources what might happen before it happens, and to get the predictive analytics in front of a climate-driven event to notify customers in the way that they want to talk to their utility, to understand what could happen to me. I know that weather is coming, I know it's going to be bad, but is it going to affect me and how? And the utilities can be very much in the forefront of that conversation. They're doing some of these analytics for their system reliability purposes themselves, and then marrying that with ways to provide that information to their customers is key to some of the engagement strategies. Those were some of the things that were topics of our panel. And in addition, getting the startup companies to understand a little bit of the decision process for how to get a new technology tested, approved, and into the market eventually.
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your insights, Terry, and we really appreciate you hosting an engaging panel earlier.
Thanks, Dylan. It was a pleasure.